Hi everyone, my name is Mihret, and a lot of you have seen the discussion that I had with Cliff and Stuart Netchell at MIT on the issues of the Eucharist, on Scripture, on salvation, and on the early church. And I want to first start off by saying that I really deeply appreciate from my heart the support that I've been receiving from a lot of you, from Oriental Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox, Roman Catholics, High Church Protestants. All of you, a number of you, have sent your support and expressed your understanding of how important these topics are. And so I really do want to thank all of you from the bottom of your heart. And I hope that, you'll spread this to other people as well. And, I do want to kind of give some context. When I went to MIT to speak with Cliff, there was no agenda. In fact, I'll say this, I very much appreciate what Cliff and Stuart are doing in the sense of bringing people out of utter disbelief, out of atheism, out of, other different religions. But what I would venture to say is that the issues that were raised in that video between me and Stuart and Cliff are not secondary issues. They're issues that profoundly affect our understanding of the gospel, of salvation, of Christ, and of Christianity as a whole. And so evangelism is good, but we need to direct people to the fullness of truth. It's not just about bringing people out of disbelief, but it's about bringing them into the perfection of belief, into the perfection of the fullness of truth, into that truth, that deposit of faith, which Christ himself entrusted to the apostles, because Christ himself says in the Gospels, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And, at the heart of the discussion, what I really, really wanted to kind of make my point about is that I myself know nothing. Cliff and Stuart, all of us were infallible. We're random people, that got up in 2025. So we should not trust our own interpretations. We are not infallible interpreters. So in order to understand Scripture, in order to understand Christianity, we need to go back to the first century, to the time of Christ and the apostles, to the time of the apostles' successors, their disciples, and see what they had to say about the Scriptures, how they interpreted Scripture. We need to look at the early church who in fact compiled the New Testament as we know it, and see what they had to say about these matters. We can't say that Scripture is infallible, but then dismiss the church that compiled and gave to us this canon of infallible books, of infallible texts. There is no such thing as a fallible list of infallible books. It's a logical contradiction. So rather than fall into pride, into rationalism and empiricism, rather we should humbly do our own research. And this is the plea that I'm extending to all of you that may be wrestling with the topics that I raised in that discussion. Put aside the ego, do the research. Look into what the early church really had to say about these issues. Look into what the direct contemporaries of the apostles, what they had to say about these issues. And hopefully that'll bring you to the right direction. And so I kind of wanted to finish out by saying, me and my co-host Ada, we have a podcast together called The Burning Bush. You can find us on YouTube, on Instagram. Hopefully you'll give us a follow. We have a lot of interesting videos that we're making and that we've already made, doing deep dives into Scripture, into a lot of these really, really important concepts. We actually finished recently a series on worship. So if you're curious about understanding how worship functioned in the Bible and in the early church, make sure to check out our videos. Thank you all. And lastly, I want to add, I am a sinful servant. And so I want to ask all of you to pray for me. Pray that I don't get in the way of my service to Christ. And I hope all of you will make sure to spread this to your friends, to all those around you, your coworkers, your family, so we can get that message out. God bless.